Traumatized from the lynching. I'm a Saudi the victim. I'm a Stalin that ended. Kids with PTSD, suffering symptoms, never getting treatment. Something he gotta sleep with. Stockholm syndrome, that ain't a secret. That's why I died for them brothers I'm facing lost with. All that is for like purpose. Visions of my dreams, death flow through my dreams at night. If you don't dream of life, who alive in hell, home Christian, they keep lights. All that is for life, life for my Israelites, blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Who will rivers with Israelites? Oh, Yashra, Allah, to all my Israelites. All my Israelites, life for my Israelites, blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Who will rivers with Israelites? Oh, Yashra, Allah, to all my Israelites.
Why you think sidelines comfortable on benches? Catch me on the front lines, good working trenches, making sure I'm election, preparing for Armageddon, mastering this profession of prophesying, protecting our adolescents and answering all their questions, teaching the learning reflection. No matter what the complexion, we got a common connection. A part of God's selection, a shot of the resurrection, towards the tree of affection. To give life takes sacrifice, battle even every fight, short days and long nights, let's sleep in more fights, more wisdom, more strife, telling everybody that they wrong and you're right. I'm an Israelite, blood of an Israelite, I ride for my Israelites and die for my Israelites. Dead as Christ paid the price, so ready to give their life, the life of an Israelite.
I'm an Israelite, life for my Israelites, blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Moving through rivers with Israelites. Oh, Yashra, Allah, to all my Israelites. I'm an Israelite, life for my Israelites, blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Moving through.
All right, man, clap it up. Clap it up. Isupk, man, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the leadership of Commander General Yohana. You understand? The Isupk is not affiliated with no other group. You understand? We're not affiliated with no other organization you see out here claiming to be the real priests and prophets of the Lord. Man.
Right.
And if it's not in the Isupk under Commander General Yohana, it is not the truth.
That's right.
Right? You understand? Tonight is the Monday Night History class. Topic is America never taught real womanhood, man. You understand? Officer Top One gonna break that down real smooth. A few. You know what I'm saying? But until then, we're just gonna get into a little scripture real quick. We're just gonna get into a few scriptures, man. You understand? Because good night. You shouldn't want to be a part of no other nation but your own people. You understand? Read that from the top, brother.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Not desire.
You know what I'm saying? It's repeated twice for a reason, man. It's to show you how serious this is. You know what I'm saying? To show you that this ain't no joke. You know what I'm saying? Black man say something twice. This is serious, man. This ain't no joke. Nation not desire, man. You understand? That's easy to know what we're talking about right there. Oh, nation not desire. You know what I'm saying? Who gets disrespected, you know what I'm saying, amongst all the people on this earth? You know what I'm saying? Who has the worst reputation on this earth? You know what I'm saying? Who gets destroyed? Who has been destroyed and continues to get destroyed? You know what I'm saying? On this earth. You know what I'm saying? Who has been raped and robbed and is continually murdered as a, you understand? It's talking about the so-called Black Hispanics and Native American Indians, man. You understand? We are that nation on this earth that's not desired. It's not desired by this world, man. You know what I'm saying? This so-called America. This is not desired by no world on this earth, but the world of the Most High, man. You understand? We're not desired, man. And the scripture telling us to gather together. You know what I'm saying? Come together in order for the Most High. It's not even a friendly suggestion. You understand? For us to gather together, that is a goddamn commandment from the Lord, man. You understand? Read on, brother. Read it one more time. From the top.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Gather yourselves together. Yeah, gather together, O nation not desired.
And it says, you understand? Meaning Meaning that nation that's not desired needs to gather together. So in gathering together, what does that mean? It means you have no choice but to separate from everyone else, man.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You're a Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. Understand that God does not want you to, you know what I'm saying, interracially marriage, man. Does not want you to be amongst these other nations. No, it doesn't want you to love them. It doesn't want you to join them. You understand? Because in joining them, what do? You conform to their society. You understand? You become docile. And then you begin to what? Worship their gods and teach, you know what I'm saying, and follow what they follow and do what they do. You understand what I'm saying? You begin to become to be what? Naked, as the scriptures say, man. You understand? Because now you learn a custom that doesn't belong to you. So what are you going to do? You're going to disregard your God, throw your God to the side, and serve their power, man. You understand what I'm saying? Which does not love you at all, which can't help you at all.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? You Buddhists, you know what I'm saying? Brother, that is going to do nothing for you.
That's right.
You are still going to get pulled over, and that cop is still going to see a nigga, and he's more than likely going to try to take your life. You understand what I'm saying? You still going to get arrested for petty charges and be, you understand what I'm saying, getting an overkill judgment of damn 100 years for having, you know what I'm saying, a speck, a damn piece of dust in your car. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Serving these other guys, man, being a part of the nations has done nothing for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, man.
Right.
For us to continue the way we've been living on this planet would be insane, man. It's insanity to think that anything is going to change, you know what I'm saying, by doing the same thing, man.
That's right.
You know, that's why the scriptures say we need to gather together. And who are we going to gather together under? Who is going to make sure that we gather together and be on one accord, as the scriptures say? Speak the same thing as the scriptures say. You understand? Commander General Yohana, man, and the Isupk.
That's right.
That's who's going to make sure this nation gathers together and get straight, man. You understand? We've been doing it since 1969. You understand? Since 1969, you know what I'm saying? These brothers with what? They're together, man. Bringing Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians together all around this earth, man. You know what I mean? And having them brothers on one accord, them sisters on one accord, and children on one accord, man. Bringing us back to our heritage, our nationality, our
That's right.
You understand? Which is this so-called Bible, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This so-called Bible, the reputation of this Bible has just been tarnished and just disrespected, man, for far too long, man.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But little do we know it's the most important book on this goddamn earth.
That's right.
And it only applies to the lives of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians.
That's right.
You understand? To our brother.
Yeah.
And with that, we pass the cast over to the priest.
Shalom, shalom. How about you? Slakia. You got any strong?
I got the old good old whiskey.
That sounds like a plan to me. You know what I'm saying? Where them cups at?
That's why I went there. I haven't found it yet.
Damn. We don't got no. We might some on the other side, but
I'll tell you real quick.
John, barbecue shop, the what? Most High in Christ. So where was we at?
We were just reading Zephaniah 2:1.
John,
And then he was elaborating on who we were and who we should be under.
Most High in Christ. We should be under who?
You know, Commander General Yohana.
Under Commander General Yohana as of right now. You understand? We should be under Commander General Yohana, right? He is the leader of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. That is a fact. That is a biblical fact, in fact. Okay? And we need to be under Commander General Yohana because Commander General Yohana is under who?
Christ.
He's under Christ. You understand? And of course, we know the rank and order in Christ is under the Most High. So now, that being said, I'm glad the brother brought that out again. Brother always does a 2-hour job. Give Officer Maryard right? But we see what's going on in the world, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's no secret. I'm hearing, man, let me tell you something. Gas prices by my house, the gas down the block from my house is $1.89.
Yo, I went looking for the joint that said it was what, 177 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find that shit.
Right down the block from my house is a Lowe's. It's like the grocery store.
Yeah.
Go Lowe's. They got gas. It's $1.89.
I'm going up there.
No
Like,
sweat.
I haven't since the year 2000.
Mhm.
The last time I paid for gas under $2 was in the year 2000.
Wow. I did it today.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah. But why are they saying this happened?
Because the coronavirus.
Because the coronavirus is so potent, it's somehow making gas prices go down. Like the stock market is crashing and burning. You understand? The economy is in a state that it hasn't been in since what, 2008? Maybe worse. Like the Dow Jones had like its worst day ever. Go ahead,
It's going to a denial one. It's the
Please.
coronavirus, but Russia and OPEC is having beef because OPEC want to cut back the production of oil, and Russia doesn't because it's going to hurt. Because it's going to hurt American oil companies. So that's one of the reasons, along with the coronavirus, that the gas prices are going down.
You know, just see me a little bit. What? Good night. Well, that makes sense. You know what I mean? But right in the UP, no, there's no sign Christ. In the UPK, we have a swap for that. In the UPK, we have a phrase, right? A very, some brothers will become more familiar with this phrase later on. But we have a phrase that we say what? We chant it. Babylon is falling. Right? Well, Babylon is falling. It's happening right before our eyes. Right before our eyes, it's all coming down. You understand? It just bit by bit by bit by bit by bit. You know what I'm saying? Just their whole empire, the way they run things, man, is just ending. And can I just say real quick, Barakatah Yahweh Shah for that. Right. Most High in Christ, and this kingdom coming down, right? You understand? Meanwhile, me and my brothers, man, we out here toasting it up. You know what I'm saying? We out here doing what we got to do. You know what I mean? We making babies. You know what I'm saying? Israel is growing. You know what I'm saying? That's a Tawab thing. it's all going to switch over. And I'm very happy to see that take place, as are all my brothers. You understand? But this is why this scripture about gathering together is so important. You know what I'm saying? Because, it's like, if you on the ship and the ship going down, I know y'all seen Titanic. You going down with the ship. You better get off of that joint. You better get in one of them little safe, you know what I mean? What they call them?
The life rafts.
Little life rafts. You better get on one of them joints. You understand? And there's only one life raft for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and it's the Isupk.
That's right. That's right.
There is no other life raft. Islam is not a life raft for you. It's going down. You understand? Christianity, it's a pretty ship. It looks nice, like the Titanic. When the Titanic was made, they hailed it as what? The largest unsinkable ship. The irony of that.
It sank on its maiden
voyage. On its maiden voyage. It was the unsinkable ship. It was so big and grand, man. And you had to have some money to get on that joint. Like you had rich aristocrats up in there. And that joint went down. Had to be, can you imagine how hard water going into the boiler room? There's water going all over the place. We sink it. It took that shit hours to sink. You know what I'm saying? It didn't just happen until it was hours and hours of that. It was suddenly going down, and then it went up, and then it broke in half, and then all this stuff. Right? That's America. America slowly but surely, the water is seeping into the boiler room.
Damn right.
You understand? It's all gonna come down. You damn sure don't want to be on it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're here for, the Isupk and the community of Yohana. Understand? So now, any questions before I begin my topic? Comments, anything y'all seen other than what we just discussed? Please, bring it up.
As I was telling Officer Mayar, is that Trump got on a plane with this dude. He was on a plane and in the car with Trump. And this guy that I'm talking about, I think the last name is Gates. He came in contact with a dude that has been confirmed to have the coronavirus.
So what you trying to tell me?
There's a possibility that old Trump, who called it a hoax just 10 days ago, he might come down with it.
Most High in Christ. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens. I mean, you never know. You know what I'm saying? I'm hearing so many different things about it. You know what I mean? But you never know.
You never know.
Man. So now, please, you say?
I said, wouldn't that be something though?
It would be amazing. He has been downplaying it, like, and you know he can't talk, like, at all. He can't talk. He talked too regular, or like, I can't believe he's president. Please.
He takes it personal, like,
right.
Like if he doesn't control it, like it's against him. You know.
But right, but he's not like, not saying there's anything to wild about the Hamite or the other Edomites that have been on, but you know they went to college and you know, I mean, he did too, but they're just more articulate. They can say things that, you know, make people, really how they made people feel comfortable is because the average American citizen doesn't feel as smart or as qualified as Barack Obama, as even a Bill Clinton, as George Bush Sr. You know what I'm saying? Right. We did feel smarter than Bush Jr., let's be honest. We did. But even he seems like Stephen Hawking compared to Donald Trump.
That's right.
That dude be like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, the stuff is pretty good. We're gonna be fine. I'm hearing that, you know, it'll disappear in April. I heard him say that.
Yeah.
He was just like, yeah, you know, really these things just kind of end when the heat comes. What? Please.
If I may, I also heard a report when I was coming down here on the radio that when it first came out, this company offered to make the coronavirus test kits, and Trump refused and tried to get a company that he had invested in. That's going to come out.
Good.
It came out today. Matter of fact, I was listening on the radio on my way down there.
Always thinking about them dollars, man. That's crazy. I hear everybody buying the masks too. The masks? That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing it don't do much, but I hear like the hospitals are like tripping because like people are buying like hundreds of masks preparation for what's about to come down. And now some of like the medical, like the hospitals are panicking, especially in the major cities, are panicking because of, yo, we're running out of masks. Like, what are we gonna do? Please.
But that's the only stock that's going up is the medical field. Those are the only stocks that's going higher. All other stocks is coming down. But the medical field, their stocks is going up.
No sweat, no sweat. Well, again, it's time to separate from America. Black man, Hispanic man, any man. Black woman, Hispanic woman, Native Indian woman. This place is disgusting. It's just sick, right? And my topic today is something that relates to that. We just read a Tawab story, man. By the way, clap it up for the Feast of Purim, man. Clap it up for our sister going in there and dealing with them heathens wisely, putting her neck out, putting her life on the line, and saving her nation from total and complete annihilation. It's a beautiful and Tawab thing. And we're gonna read a little bit of this to rehash it, but we're gonna read some scriptures, man, that show you what a real woman is about. Because how does she do it? What's the amazing thing about that story is what? A lot of amazing things about it. But let me ask you a question. She was with the king Ahasuerus. Did she belittle him into submission? Did she yell him into submission? Did she talk down to him into submission? Did she try to empower him into submission? What did she do?
She used womanly guile.
She used, Most High in Christ, give him a hand. She used womanly guile. She told womanly lie, taught a grand lie. They have been pumped so full of feminism that a black woman, and I mean, it really boggles my mind, right? But imagine thinking, as a woman, that this man who is with you because you're a woman, because he's not a homosexual, because it's against the Bible, of course, right? We know that, right? This man who was with you because you are that beautiful sister, that pretty, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
That pretty dainty thing, man. Like that sister, man, that's just Tawab. He get with you because of that. And you think to yourself, he won't do what I want him to do. I think I know what it is. If I act more like a nigga, maybe that will make him do what I want him to do. Maybe if I yell at him like a man, he'll listen to me. Maybe if I, get aggressive with him like I want to fight him, maybe that's what I got to do. That's how I get him, to kind of do what I would like him to do. You know what I'm saying? Shalom. You know what I'm saying? That is mind-boggling to me. It baffles me, right? That a woman can think that. So we're going to get a little bit of kind of some history and read some things that show you this movement in America called feminism, right? We're going to talk about third wave feminism specifically, right? And talk about how it eventually became an attack on everything that is true womanhood. Please.
If I may real quickly. Like, if you notice, I watch a lot of news. Mm-hmm. They're using the feminist women to be spokespersons now for the campaign for Joe Biden. They're using this one feminist woman. She got like this blonde hair, shortcut blonde hair, and then on what's his name, Bernie Sanders' side, they got this other sister. She's a feminist too, and she's on Sanders' side, so they using both of them.
Gotcha. Hey. That's what they do though. I mean, it's just a popularity contest. They placate to whoever they got to placate to, and they do different things. I saw one cat was up there with goddamn Juvenile singing "Back That Up." Some Caucasian Edomite man was dancing with Juvenile on the stage, trying to become the president of the United States of America. He ended up dropping out. I forgot the cat's name.
I didn't see that.
Man, I'll show you after class. I couldn't believe it. And don't forget when Hillary was on the damn show, what was she doing? Like trying to nay or something like that, some nonsense. They do that, man. They try to placate to whoever. And right now, on the left side, you know what I'm saying, they got to placate to the feminists. They got to placate to women's rights. Everybody's doing it now. It's the hot thing. Even your movies you watch. You know what I'm saying? Everything you watching is all about like putting the woman above and she in charge, she's strong. You can go watch I'm taking my little brother to go watch a movie, thinking we're going to see some, I'm old, so I'm thinking I'm going to see some hot Arnold Schwarzenegger action. I'm thinking I'm going to see some, you know what I mean, like some cool moves, and there's going to be explosions everywhere, and it's going to be real manly, and people going to be getting shot up. But then at the end of the movie, it's just a bunch of women, you know what I'm saying, kicking everybody's tail, killing everybody. No, I'm just in general. Let's not get started on Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? I can talk about that all day. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna spoil nothing, but it's amazing to me how somebody can be trained by Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker is the greatest Jedi ever. And this person was trained by him, got beat by a woman her first time holding a lightsaber. That's how they do things now. You know, so I'm not surprised what they do.
So it's the venue they want you to come through.
Exactly. Right. Now, instead of pushing that kind of, it used to be like, you know, like the Edomite male hero who was super strong. It was Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger or somebody like that. You know what I mean? Now, women are just stronger than everybody. They're beating up everybody. They're killing everybody. You know what I'm saying? But you can't kill them in the movie. You know what I mean? But that's what America's pushing right now. But they've been pushing that on black women for the past 60, 80 years. Right. You know what I'm saying? You're just seeing it now in the public sphere. But they've been pushing the idea that, hey, black woman, you're better if you're in charge. Since slavery. We brought out Willie Lynch's letter not too long ago. You know what I'm saying? Before we get into the articles, give me a 4-time real fast. Corinthians 7:13. No, that's like 13. No, that's square. What was it? Roman 15:4. The article. Hey, give me a 4-time real fast. I'm sending you the articles in the meantime too.
Well, sorry, correct. The book of Romans, chapter 15, verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime.
Whatsoever things were written aforetime. Very simple. Written aforetime. This is the New Testament. You think the New Testament is just some some book written in a vacuum and it had nothing to do with nothing else, and that's all you got to listen to. You got a Bible in your house that only has the New Testament. My grandmother had a little Bible back in the day when I was a kid. It literally said Psalms, Proverbs, and the New Testament. That's what it said. You understand? But in the New Testament, this is in Romans. Who's talking here?
This is Paul.
This is right. It became Paul the son. This is your favorite person. This is Paul, right? Well, see what Paul said about the Old Testament. Read it again.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime. That's why he said, as it is written. He says it in Romans, the 9th chapter, right? When he talks about how Esau, right? How God hates Esau. Right. He didn't say, even though it's written in the Old Testament, we don't go by that now. He said, as it is written. Right. As in the same way, as it is written. Right? Esau have I hated. Jacob I love, Esau have I hated. That's why he says, as it is written. That's why Christ said, as it is written. They're quoting the Old Testament, you know?
Written aforetime.
Written aforetime was written back in the day. Read.
Were written for our learning.
No, written for us to forget about it.
Our learning.
Written for us to ignore it.
For our learning.
It was written for our learning. You needed to learn.
Right.
You needed to know what the hell you're doing. That's how we know. I know not to eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. Why? Because I read it in the Old Testament. And that's how Christ knew not to eat it. And that's how Paul knew not to eat it. And that's how everybody in the New Testament knew not to eat those things. Knew not to, to sleep with each other's wives. They knew that because it was written aforetime.
That's right. That we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures.
Right? Through patience and comfort of the scriptures. We meditate on the scriptures, man. We meditate on the scriptures. And they comfort us. Because we know, because in prophecies tell us that guess what? Our captivity is soon at an end, man. That's why we get comfort in it. Read on.
That we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope.
That we might have hope. That's how we have hope. You understand? So it's important for us to go through these histories, to read definitely go back in the Old Testament, but to read things about our history, man. Don't forget about slavery, no matter what they tell you. We can't forget about slavery. We can't forget about we was reading in Esther about Purim, and it literally told us what? That it should never be forgotten. That's why we celebrate. Esther died over 2,000 years ago.
Right.
Almost 3,000, right? That's the time. That's the Persians and Medes, right?
Like 2,600.
That's like 25, like 2.5, 2,600 years ago. And here we are celebrating it today. We're celebrating the death and destruction of our goddamn oppressors in Egypt. Please give the Most High a round of applause for putting them goddamn stinking Africans, under tons and tons of water. Which is, give them a hand. That's over 3,000 years ago. That's like 3,500 years ago, right? Or more. And they under that damn Red Sea, and Barakatah Yahweh shot for that. We celebrating it next month at the Lord's 51st annual Passover in White Plains, New York. Ooh-wee. You understand? Then it just warms my heart to imagine them filthy heathens, you understand, being plagued with all kinds of pestilence and disease, and the kids is dying, and they starving, and the animals dying, and all of that. Meanwhile, we was up in the crib eating that delicious lamb and that unleavened bread. Ooh-wee. It's amazing. But we learned that aforetime, and we still celebrate it today. You understand? So now, let me send you this the other article. I sent you one, and now I'm about to send you another one. Okay. Right, and I got a third one that I gotta find. Right, but we're gonna get started on the second one I sent you first and foremost. Right. Let me know what you got.
I got dailymail.com UK, female article, and then I got www.google.com, huffpost.com US entry. That's what I got.
Okay, it's the Huffington Post one.
Okay. Let's go.
Just give me 1 second. So lock it. Let me see if this is the one I need. I can't use this. Can I go ahead and start reading that second article? So this article is basically somebody breaking down when feminism started to become anti-motherhood. I don't know if y'all know that, but that's exactly what it became.
That's right.
The feminist movement, if you go back to the 1800s and the early 1900s, mostly what it was about, well, they proclaimed it to be about equality. These women were married. So your Susan B. Anthony's, people like that, they were married women, right? The only thing that they had problems with, to be quite honest with you, they just didn't want to be like niggas. Niggas couldn't vote. So they thought it was tragic that they couldn't vote. You understand? They wanted at least to be better than black people, right? Like feminism, I believe, took place kind of in like the 20s and 30s, right? So now this is women who during the war, right, they were left back and had to work in factories. They had to keep the economy running. And when the men came back, they were like, well, I've been working, I kind of don't want to stop. I kind of want the freedom to work and have equality in the workplace. You know what I'm saying? I want to get severance pay. You know what I mean? If I get pregnant, I want some kind of maternity leave. You know, things like that. In the workplace, they wanted wage gaps to be closed. That's second wave feminism. Third wave feminism, right? We're going to talk about it right now. I got two things I'm going to basically read, and I'm going to have you read that one in just a second. But I just want to set the tone for what third wave feminism really started to get into. So, Slovakia. Don't want to read Britannica, I'm not sure. Let me see. Slovakia, a bunch of stuff popping up. Aha. Right. Okay. Right. So this is what I want. I'm going to go ahead and read this. I want you to just hold what you got, okay? So it says, this is in the Encyclopedia Britannica, right? Third wave feminism. The third wave of feminism emerged in the mid-1990s, right? It was led by so-called Generation Xers who, born in the 1960s and 70s, in the developed world, came of age in a media-saturated and culturally and economically diverse milieu. Although they benefited significantly from the legal rights and protections that had been obtained by first and second wave feminists. Again, first and second wave was mostly about legal rights, right? Now, second wave feminists also, because you got, we might talk about her later, but like Andrea Dworkin, people like her, they did start talking about rejecting motherhood, but not as much. Theirs was more about legality, okay? But it says, in status achieved by women of the second wave, the massive expansion and opportunities for the dissemination of ideas created by the information revolution of the late 20th century and the coming of age of Generation X scholars and activists. Some early adherents of the new approach were literally daughters of the second wave. Third Wave Direct Action Corporation, organized in 1992, became in 1997 the Third Wave Foundation, dedicated to supporting groups and individuals working towards gender, racial, economic, and social justice. Both were founded by, among others, and I want y'all to remember these names, Rebecca Walker, the daughter of novelist and second waver Alice Walker, Jennifer Baumgartner, and Amy Richards, authors of Manifesto, Young Women, Feminism in the Future, were both born in 1970 and raised by second wavers who had belonged to organized feminist groups, questioned the sexual division of labor in the households, and raised their daughters to be self-aware, empowered, articulate, high-achieving women. These women and others like them grew up with the expectation of achievement and examples of female success, as well as an awareness of the barriers presented by sexism, racism, and classism. They chose to battle such obstacles by inverting sexist, racist, and classist symbols, fighting patriarchy with irony, answering violence with stories of survival, and combating continued exclusion with grassroots activism and radical democracy. Rather than becoming part of the machine, third wavers began with both sabotaging and rebuilding the machine itself. Now, this is the part I really want. I'm gonna ask some questions about it. Influenced by the postmodernist movement in the academy, third wave feminists sought to question, reclaim, and redefine the ideas, words, and media that have transmitted ideas about womanhood, gender, beauty, sexuality, femininity, and masculinity, among other things. There was a decided shift in perceptions of gender, with the notion that there are some characteristics that are strictly male and others that are strictly female, giving way to the concept of a gender continuum. From this perspective, each person is seen as possessing, expressing, and suppressing the full range of traits that had previously been associated with one gender or the other. For third wave feminists, therefore, sexual liberation, a major goal of second wave feminism, was expanded to mean a process of first becoming conscious of the ways one's gender identity and sexuality have been shaped by society, and then intentionally constructing and becoming free to express one's authentic gender identity. What the hell does that mean? What do y'all think it means? Just think of some of the words that were in there and what they might sound like they mean. We heard words like gender. We heard words like sexuality, femininity, masculinity. Please,
Basically, what I took from that is that the feminist movement, their one desire is not basically equality with men, but they want to be able to do whatever they feel is right for them as women, whether it's politically, sexually, financially, whatever it might be. They're going to be the ones that's going to determine what it is. What is the legal definition of gender? And we see what has happened because of that.
What has happened because of that?
It's 400 genders now.
Okay. There's 400 genders.
Well, I'm just saying,
I got you.
Legally it's 7.
Legally it's how many?
7. They got like 7. Like, matter of fact, my daughter posted this thing, and it's like 7 genders, like transgender, male, all kind of. I don't even need to get into it really. No. There were 7 of them on the list that are recognized, and what they were talking about was that in the future these things are going to be taught.
Not out of place, but you hear that word used often, and people kind of use it in certain ways to say certain things about how people should be or should act. What about the word masculinity? What are they saying about masculinity these days?
It's overrated.
That's what they're saying, right? Yeah. They got a thing called toxic masculinity. Right? Yeah. Where basically the idea is that, what do they mean when they say toxic masculinity?
That too much masculinity is poison to the culture.
In a way.
It is detrimental to women.
I'll say it like this. Their idea is that masculinity, we just read about the third wave feminists, that masculinity as we've known it is toxic. They believe it's a construct from religion and things like that.
Male ego.
Right. But that in actuality, masculinity doesn't have to be that. Masculinity could be anything. Femininity could be anything. Right? So I said we're going to talk about third wave feminism. We're really talking about middle second wave, all the way up. The fact of the matter is this. They believe that gender, masculinity, femininity, all those things that you said can be whatever they want it to be. It can be whatever they want it to be. Like being a woman doesn't, in 2020, somebody tell me I'm lying. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. In 2020, they believe that having a penis does not automatically make you a man. You can be a woman in 2020 and have a full-on penis. Nuts, all of that.
Shit is mad
And you can have a vagina.
Be a man.
And you're a man. Well, I just saw Dwayne Wade on the thing say, he was on the mic, and he said, you know, when our daughter Zaya came to us at 8 years old, we were not educated. There's a little boy standing right there, his daughter. He had on pants.
In a green outfit?
Right.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right.
I didn't pay no attention.
And obviously he hasn't had any kind of sex change or anything. He's still 9 or 8 year old, something like that. I don't know how old he is.
I think he was 11.
Salakia, I'm bugging. 11, right?
But he said, if I may,
Please.
he said last week the boy knew since he was 3 years old or something like that.
He knew since the boy was 3 years old. Something going on in that house. I don't know. The whole thing.
Listen, brother, I've been around kids, man.
Right.
There's no 3-year-old on the planet Earth
Right.
that knows that shit. I don't give a fuck how much you've been around. I don't care. That shit is.
We saw a video where the dude was asking his 3-year-old son if he was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. He was like, "Yep." You understand? So that's insane, right? But what we're reading is that the third wave feminists, they were the ones who started to push. What it is second wave feminism was very much about changing the perception of how women are. They were burning their bras. They were the ones who started saying, we can reject motherhood. We can reject traditional womanhood. Then the third wave feminists took that even further and said, we can be men. Men can be us. We all saw one thing, right? That's how it started. Now, the article you got, start reading that, please.
Yeah, there's a scripture, if I may.
Please.
There's a scripture said it turned things upside down and shit.
Pull it. Turning of things upside down?
Yeah, turning things upside down. I
Pull
have
it.
to come out of here.
Mm-hmm. Do your thing.
I can't. Okay, hold on.
Right. You also want to look up terms like the sexual revolution. I'll read it real quick while you're getting that. The sexual revolution, also known as a time of sexual liberation, was a social movement that challenged traditional codes of behavior related to sexuality and interpersonal relationships throughout the United States and subsequently the wider world from the 1960s to the 1980s. Sexual liberation included increased acceptance. Now listen to this. Increased acceptance of sex outside of traditional heterosexual monogamous relationships, primarily marriage. The normalization of contraception and the pill, public nudity, pornography, premarital sex, homosexuality, masturbation, alternative forms of sexuality, and the legalization of abortion all followed. You understand? That's what we're really getting into tonight, right? This sexual liberation that started to take place during second wave feminism, in the midst of it, all the way up until we get to third wave, right? So you got that scripture?
Carnal.
Right. We already did a class on abortion, right? But that's prevalent to this too. Go ahead and read what you got.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 29, verse 19.
Mm-hmm.
Surely your turning of things upside down.
Surely your what?
Your turning of things upside down,
right, read,
shall be esteemed as the potter's clay.
Your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. What does that mean?
Their way of molding society.
Right. People are going to look at it. That's the way a potter molds it. Yeah. The way he's able to shift it and turn it his way. And then he come out with a vase or something. That's how they're turning things upside down.
Yeah.
They're molding the world to fit their way. Yeah. What's it say in Job? The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. The hands of the wicked. He's the one molding it. You understand? Now get that article you got. Is there more on that?
No.
Okay.
That's what.
Okay. Get that article.
When did feminism become so anti-motherhood? Mm-hmm. My mom's friend and I swap parenting stories like we're vets reliving our time in Vietnam. Mm-hmm. It's amazing how the 2-foot angels we call children can also become demon terror. Women cry.
So this woman, right? She's a writer for the Huffington Post, and she's a mother. So she's, you know what I'm saying, talking about, you know, her motherhood and everything. Continue.
And yes, sometimes you're seeing so much red rage, you shut yourself in the bathroom to protect them or yourself. You're not sure, but once again, you're probably crying.
Mm-hmm. White women don't like
Weak as
being
hell.
parents. Go ahead.
Parenting isn't for cowards.
That's a fact. That's a damn fact.
That's a fact.
It ain't for cowards.
That's right.
But we're going to get into that. What's our motto in the UPK? No cowards. That's for brothers and sisters. Read on.
Yet in the midst of the messy and the monotonous and the downright maddening, there are moments that take your breath away as a parent. You have a front row seat to watch an individual unfurl their wings and find their place in this world. We're the heroes toiling away, often with more criticism than appreciation, raising future citizens and world impactors.
Drop down to the paragraph that begins Marie Claire.
Marie Claire recently ran an article giving voice to women who have failed to get that.
Right, you know?
Mothers who regret their children having been born and genuinely think they might be living better, more meaningful, possibly more exciting lives without these extra humans dragging them down.
Ooh, wee.
Yeah, that's prevailing.
Read.
They're just sure their lives would be marked by career accolades.
My what?
Career accolades.
My career accolades, read on.
And fancy travel destinations
Uh-huh.
rather than midnight bedwettings and worn thin yoga pants.
Yeah, so basically she's saying this other person had wrote an article basically saying she wished she had never been a mother. She had never given birth to children. Read on.
But we're blaming the wrong group. We're blaming the wrong group for the disappointment and the frustration. It's not the kids who are at fault for ruining their mother's lives, quote unquote. You can instead thank a feminist movement. A feminist movement that has failed women.
Feminist movement that has failed women. Well, let's see how it failed women. Read on.
When Betty Friedan first wrote her status quo rattling piece, The Feminist Mystique, she was advocating that motherhood was a lesser role compared to working outside of the home.
No, I think it says she wasn't advocating. Yeah, it says she wasn't advocating.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Slaka. The Feminist Mystique. She wasn't advocating that motherhood was a lesser role compared to working outside of the home, Salakia. In an interview with Playboy magazine, as recounted by Susan Bowers in Subverted, Friedan said, women are the people who give birth to children, and that is a necessary value in society. Feminism was not opposed to marriage and motherhood.
Right. Now, that's what I was saying earlier. The old form of feminism, the original form, it wasn't really feminism. What they called it was women's suffrage.
Yeah, exactly.
Women's suffrage. That's what they called it back in the late 1800s and early 1900s, because it was not at that time yet. It was going to get there, and maybe they had it on their mind, but that's not what they were pushing then. They were not pushing for women to not be women. They were pushing for the role of a woman to be a little bit more respected. That's what they wanted respect from who?
From the man.
From what man?
The white man.
From the white man.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted. You understand? Read on.
But poor Betty, she failed to see that this was exactly what her sexual revolution counterpart.
What her what?
Sexual revolution counterpart.
Her what?
Sexual revolution counterpart.
Her sexual revolution counterparts. And we read about. I gave you a little synopsis of what sexual revolution was. That was when, right, in the 50s and 60s, they started to push this. That's where you get them hippies.
Yeah.
Right? In the 50s and 60s, they started to push this heavy sexual freedom or liberation thing. Like you can just, sex shouldn't be confined to marriage. We got to get rid of religion. Like we got to stop thinking that sex is something you're supposed to do with just this person you like. Right?
Imagine. Remember that song by John Lennon?
Right. What is the song?
The name of the song is
I
Imagine.
know the song, but there's a part in there. What are you talking
He
about?
says, imagine there's no heaven,
Uh-huh.
no hell below us, no
Right.
vision too.
Right. It's all about erasing all the rules. Right? And one of those rules is used. Now, let me say this too. This might be a foreign concept to people. But we growing up, right? We in America. And this damn place, man, is so disgusting. And I go on Facebook and I see what? My people. And it seems like all they can talk about is sex. All they talk about is sex. But let me tell you something. They're not talking about sex. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about pornography. There's a difference. There's a difference. Sex is holy, according to the Bible. Actual sex between a man and a woman is one of the holiest things that can be done. You understand? It is a set apart thing that was designed by the Most High to be an expression of something very, very real. And in the Bible, what is it? It's the thing that binds a man and woman together. It's the thing that bounded Adam and Eve together. That bound them together. It's the thing that bound Isaac and Rebekah. It's the thing that bound Jacob with his 4 wives. You understand? That's what sex is for. It's a tawab thing. You know what General Hyman say, man? It's the damn matrix. You understand? It's tawab, right? But we growing up in America in this place that pushes this sexual liberation pornographic garbage. And now, because of that, we think that it's not sex if it ain't porn. We growing up in a world associating all things sex with that disgusting, illicit, it gotta be some whore that you just met tonight. It gotta be some woman, you know what I'm saying, that you know what I mean, that you don't give a damn about. It gotta be your best friend's man. It gotta be some dude that you don't give a damn about, but you heard he good at it. It gotta be some filthy thing. And that somehow makes it better. That comes from this. You understand? That's where that comes from. You want to talk about twerking and all of the things you see on the internet, you say, man, why are people always like this? Why do we always talk like this? Why can't it seem like a black woman can't go on the internet without saying something about her sex life? You understand? Why is that not sacred anymore? It's because of this. Give me envy that not the oppressor real quick. Give me that, man. Because that's what this is. They push this garbage on our women. All the abortions, all of the illicit sex, all of the AIDS. And that's why we're adamant in the Isupk about telling you that the oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of. Because you think that we got all the AIDS in Atlanta, in Philadelphia, in California, in New York, in North Carolina, because we just some evil, disgusting people. No, we're better than them. But they pushed all of this garbage on us, man.
Is that Ecclesiastes?
Yeah.
Salaka. The water.
The water, brother. Salaka, you said I'm good on? I'm good on?
Yeah, come on, man. You think?
The book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 31.
Uh-huh.
The water. Envy thou not the oppressor.
Do what?
Envy thou not the oppressor.
No, you should aspire to be like him.
Envy thou not the oppressor.
Envy thou not the oppressor. What does it mean to envy someone? What does it mean to envy someone? I want a very specific answer. Good.
To want what he has or to do what he does.
Most High in Christ, give him a hand right off the bat. To envy is not just to. It's not as simple as, hey, I like that, man. I might want to give me one of those too. I like that car. It's no. I want that car. I don't want a Mustang like that one. I want your Mustang. Please,
Kids that have food at the table, but your food is so much better.
Right. You give him the same It's the same mac and cheese on your plate. You know what I'm saying? Good night. Publishing videos. This is a connection to camera. What are you talking about? They cut me off the Facebook. No sweat. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me just I'm gonna go ahead and share the YouTube. Salaki, bear with me real fast. Because the Facebook got clipped. But really, you know what I'm saying? That's Tawab anyway, because you know what I'm saying, I'd rather stick with the YouTube joint. If everybody can get access to it. Right now my internet's going a little slow though. Oh snap, we getting the damn General Muhammad live right now doing a coronavirus breakdown. I'm gonna catch that later.
Yo. Yeah, we get it later.
Okay. Let me see that shit. Salakia.
Is Katazar with him?
I just saw General
I saw him and Katazar together earlier today.
Make sure you put the respect on him.
Yeah, I was about to say, make sure Captain
Katazar. So
no, you so wild, but yeah, you just want to.
No, let me know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Let me know.
Oh, yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Exactly. Right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That man worked. He put in work to get that title.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot here. I'm just gonna post it on the Durham page so that way they can click right over to it. And my phone going so damn slow. No sweat. Read the scripture from the top of the zone.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 31.
Mm-hmm.
Envy thou not the oppressor,
All right.
and choose none of his ways.
So choose some of his ways. It's all good.
None of his ways.
He got a couple things that we should want to be like.
None of his ways.
None of his goddamn ways. All filthy anyway.
That's right. That's right.
You want to be like him? He's the biggest homosexual on earth.
Right.
The biggest. Salaki, I don't want to, man, let me not say. I don't want to say none of them alphabet city buzzwords.
Right.
Let's just say he's and I'm going to use this word too. He's the biggest freak.
Nasty.
He's nasty, man. Like, he's a freak. Some of the things I think about brothers doing, man, that I done did in the world and sisters done did in the world, and I look, I'm like, God damn, like that is Caucasian people stuff, man. That was a
I remember when we found out that Rock Hudson was a fact.
Right.
Rock Hudson was like Macho Man back in the day. Couldn't find out. This is what he said. This is a quote. You look it up. He said he got tired of women.
He got tired of women.
He got tired of.
Okay.
He got tired of the box.
Yeah. No, that makes sense for him.
For him.
Yeah.
That's not.
That makes sense for him because, you know, I mean, it's in their nature to want. Let me tell you something, and I'm going to keep this very clear, right? You think of any disgusting, filthy, out the box, out of this world, weird fetish garbage, it comes from the oppressor.
That's right, sir.
He not normal. He's right. For him, box ain't enough. It ain't enough just to be box. Just to be box attached to a woman that looks good, that you like being around. That ain't enough for him. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, man, Salakia, I'll say this. Back in the day, when I was in the world and I was young, man, watching pornography and all that filth and that garbage, man, it literally is like he just can't wait to think of something new and ridiculous to do.
Right, that's right. That's right. That's him.
That's it. His mindset is, okay, I did this. What next? Okay, what's the new thing I can do? What's the new thing I can try? Go ahead.
He's insatiable.
He's insatiable. Give him a hand. He's insatiable. Isn't there a scripture about the vices? Oh man. I can't think of it right now. If I can remember it, I'll pull it. But he's always thinking of some freaky way to do things. That's what gets him off. Please.
Example. Back in the 80s, what's this guy's name who had the gerbil up his butt? What's his name? I can't think of his name, but he was like one of these young up-and-coming actors, like he was going to be the next Steve McQueen or something like that.
Who also was a
Yeah. His name is coming to me. He got caught. Like he had to go to the hospital. The ambulance had, this was like 1983. The ambulance had to come, he was in Hollywood, and take him to the hospital to remove a gerbil out of his ass. But they would take the little gerbil, y'all know what a gerbil is.
Yeah, of course.
They would take his claws off, and they would put this tube in their butt. And the gerbil would go in their butt and move around, and they would get sex. Look it up. You think I'm bullshit?
No, I absolutely believe you.
His name is coming to him. I'm seeing his face.
No sweat. Give me turn upside down again, please.
Okay.
Pause. Give me that scripture that says about the turning of things upside down.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 29. Chapter 29, verse 16. Surely your turning of things upside down
7 genders
shall be esteemed.
Read it again from the top.
Surely your turning things upside down.
Homosexuality.
Surely your turning of things upside down.
Pornography.
Shall be esteemed.
From the top. One more time.
Surely your turning of things upside down.
Gerbils in your goddamn, you know what? Keep going.
Shall be esteemed as the potter's clay.
And the world loves it. The world loves sexual liberation. They love it. Our sisters love it. Why? Because of the scripture we read before. They're envying the oppressor. That kind of freedom is, people always say, what do they say? I want to be free. I just want to be free. Well, they don't want to, when they say they want to be free, it means they don't want any rules. They don't want anybody to tell them what to do. They don't even want God to tell them what to do. They don't want somebody to tell them they can't eat pork. Hell no. Isn't that what Boosie said? Didn't he say something about you don't give a damn if God say you don't eat pork anyway?
Yeah.
You understand? That's how they feel, right? This sexual liberation garbage is the same thing, man. They turn things upside down. Go back to the article you got.
Poor Betty, she failed to see that this was exactly what her sexual revolution counterparts were going for. Feminism defined as freedom from men, marriage, and or children.
From what?
From men, marriage, and or children.
Right, read on.
Key architects of the movement like Gloria Steinem equated marriage to prostitution. Oh God, now that's turning it upside down.
They equated marriage to what?
Equated marriage to prostitution.
Read
Now
on.
you're turning it upside down. I don't know what it is. And Helen Gurley Brown, editor-in-chief of Cosmopolitan magazine, wrote in her book, Sex and the Single Girl. Hard work and sex will set you free.
Hard work and what?
And sex will set you free.
Right, but check this next part.
As long as you don't have no children.
As long as you don't have no children. And you're going to tell me that black women are not learning from these goddamn oppressive feminists? Black women be like, oh, well, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm not a feminist. I'm not a this. I didn't learn from, listen, that's where you got it from, okay? All of this crap you see on the black community, Hispanic community, man. Our sisters don't give a damn. They sleep with any and everybody. Any and everybody. And you try to tell them, go try to tell a black woman that sex is marriage. Tell them that sex is marriage. And watch them ridicule you. And first of all, the funny part is I was in the group. What's the group on there, my unpopular opinions? And brothers was in there saying sex is marriage. And sisters was in there straight up saying, hoe is life. Nah, I'm just going to go ahead and be a hoe. I'm going to just be a hoe. They were saying that. Please, I got 4 or 5 husbands. I got what? About 4 or 5. I got 4 or 5 husbands. Right. But I guess they forgot the part where Christ said what after he saw it. What did he say? Read my mind. What did he say after he acknowledged he had 4 or 5 husbands? It's lucky. Because you know, they love their Jesus. My Jesus, they love him so dearly. Well, after he said, well, you have 4 or 5 husbands. You've had many husbands. What did he say? Good,
The one you about to give it tonight.
right. He knew you about to go do something real vile, ain't you? Right? Because they had caught her in the act. Right? But when it was all said and done, right? Because what's their favorite part of that story? What's their favorite part of that story?
That she had more than one man.
Nope, that's not it. I'm gonna give it to you. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. That is in that story.
That's the next story.
Come on, man.
Yeah, but that would just be like this enforcement of the law. They wanted to goddamn kill him.
Exactly.
Yeah, they want to stone her to death.
Right.
Right, I remember now.
He wasn't, but that's what I'm saying. What did he say after he told them he was without sin cast the first stone? And by the way, he wasn't saying that to be ironic.
Right.
He was like, yo, whichever one of y'all ain't sinning, yo, go ahead and stone him.
Oh, yeah, they was wicked.
But them niggas knew they was wicked. So they was like, oh, hell no, I'm not. For the niggas trying to stone me, I'm not this. He wasn't saying, let he was without sin. Because you got that image because of that disgusting image of Caesar Borgia, man. You see that goddamn devil, and you thinking he must be saying, let he who's without sin cast the first. No, it was more like a nigga, like, oh, y'all gonna stone her? Oh, she an adulteress. Oh, hell, man, whoever, which one of y'all don't got sin, go ahead and do what you gotta do. And them niggas like, and they bounce.
Right.
That's how that went. But what did he say after that? What did he say to the woman? You want to give it a try? What did Christ, after he told the Pharisees that he was without sin cast the first stone, and they fled? What did he say to the woman? Go ahead.
Go and sin no more.
Give him a hand. Go now and sin no more. Right? But now they on Facebook talking about I got 4 or 5 husbands. Well, your Jesus would be like, all right, you got 4 or 5 husbands, no sweat. Don't sin no more.
Right.
The man you with now is your goddamn husband.
That's right.
You understand? Now, we was reading the scripture out, or was you in the article?
Reading an article.
Can I finish what you got in the article?
Editor-in-chief of Cosmopolitan magazine wrote in her book, Sex and the Single Girl, hard-working sex will set you free as long as you don't have children. If you did happen to have or even want children, she had this nugget of advice. Never waste time feeling guilty.
Listen, I want y'all to listen to this quote, because we're going to jump right over to one of my favorite verses in the Bible, Proverbs 31, right? We're going to read that after we read this, because this is powerful, right? It sets off the tone for the future. Go ahead and read it out.
Never waste time feeling guilt.
Never waste time feeling guilt. Never do what? Read it again.
Never waste time feeling guilt.
Never waste time feeling guilt. Read on.
Never agonize too much.
Never agonize too much. Read on.
And have a lot of paid help at home.
Have a lot of what?
Paid help at home.
Have a lot of paid help at home. Read on.
And never, ever let them interfere with the long climb to the top.
And never, ever let them interfere with the long climb to the top. I think I feel like cutting somebody today. Read that from the top one more time, that quote.
Never waste time feeling guilty.
Give me shameless woman in the Apocrypha, please. That's what I want. We're going to break down this garbage, right? Because the reason why I'm using this quote is because this quote is prevalent to this idea. Why do you think Planned Parenthood is in your community? Why do you think Margaret Sanger is a goddamn national hero? Because she pushed the mechanism to make this possible. You understand? No, Slocky, let me read something. You got it out?
It's Ecclesiasticus, right?
Come. Let me read something real quick, right? That I got on this disgusting person. Whoever got it, there's no sweat.
The shameless woman is counted as a Yeah.
That's what I want. Let me just read this real quick. Salakia. Right? In its early days, Planned Parenthood's international work was housed in the offices of the Eugenics Society. The reason why I'm bringing up Planned Parenthood and Margaret Sanger is because of this quote from this woman who said, you should have a lot of sex, but don't have children. Right? She said you should have a lot of sex, but don't have children. Right? Then in another part, right? Never waste time feeling guilt. We're about to get that. But the whole idea of not having children is pushed in your community, man. And you letting them run rampant on you. It's a goddamn trick to destroy you. Let me read this. In its early days, Planned Parenthood's international work was housed in the offices of the Eugenics Society. Sanger's publication, The Birth Control Review, founded in 1917, regularly featured pro-eugenic articles. Eugenists financed Planned Parenthood's early projects, such as the opening of birth control clinics and publication of pro-birth control literature, and constituted most of the organization's board members. Remember, Eugenics Society were the same people who were pushing all of that sterilization stuff, all of that stuff about, controlling birth to make sure that the right features, right, were in the children, trying to eliminate what they were seeing as lower grade genetics. And who was lower grade genetics? Black people. Please.
If I may, I was reading a story where they also connected to the Tuskegee experiments as well.
Absolutely.
The same that eugenics.
Right. These are the same people who came out of the school of phrenology. Phrenology was the studies that they were doing where they were trying to say that the brain of a black man
feels less pain.
Right. It's different. It's shaped different than the brain of a white man. They believe that, please.
If I may. And they gathered this information from experimenting on black women slaves. There's this guy, I forgot his name, he was the guy that was doing all those horrific experiments on black women in slavery. They based their theories and stuff on him. I can't remember his name.
We'll get it. Right? Let me read this real fast. She succeeded, as Margaret Sanger, in convincing many black leaders, including ministers, of birth control's family planning benefits. Eventually, these same benefits and more would segue into the justification of abortion. So it is unsurprising that although blacks comprise a mere 12% of the population, black women account for 36% of all abortions performed. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's December 2000 report, or that a disproportionate number of family planning clinics are located in urban areas, largely populated by low-income blacks and other minorities. In fact, abortions have killed more black people than just about every other disease combined. Right? Shalakia. No, I'm not gonna read that one, no sweat. So now I want the brother, you got the, wait for the brother to get out before we get to it. I'm gonna go back to that article and read that part, that woman stated. Oh, now here comes the brother, it's all good. So in the article, it says, this is editor-in-chief of Cosmopolitan magazine, Helen Gurley Brown, wrote in her book, Sex and the Single Girl. Let me see what year that book came out. Let me see. Sex and the Single Girl. Salakia.
It's funny, if I may, it's funny it came out right around that time it came out with Sex in the City.
No, this is earlier.
Yeah, right after that, right?
This book, Sex and the Single Girl, is a 1962 nonfiction book by American writer Helen Gurley Brown.
That's a whole generation.
Written as an advice book that encouraged women to become financially independent and experience sexual relationships before or without marriage. The book sold 2 million copies in 3 weeks and was sold in 35 countries and has made the Los Angeles Times, the New York Times, and Time bestseller list. This is not just some random quote by some random person. We do our goddamn research in the Isupk. This is what they wanted to push on our women. You understand? Way back in the 60s. Now, I'm going to read the quote she said in this book. Hard work and sex will set you free as long as you don't have children. If you did happen to have or even want children, she had this nugget of advice. Never waste time feeling guilt. Give me my scripture.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 26, verse 25. So like a shameless woman.
And what?
A shameless
and what?
woman. A shameless woman.
A shameless woman, read on.
Shall be counted as a dog.
Counted as a what?
A dog.
As a what?
A dog.
Counted as a dog. And we all know what a female word is. A bitch. That's a female dog. Read it from the top one more time.
A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog.
A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. This woman said in her book, she said, never waste time feeling guilt. Guilt and shame is the same thing. Right. She taught women like this, taught our women to be. What's the city girl? What's the song? Something about hot girls somewhere or some garbage they sing. What's the song? I don't even know what the hell they sing in these songs these days. But your Nicki Minaj's, man, and your Megan Thee Stallions, and all of these people, man, they're teaching our women to be shameless, to not feel guilt. And this woman said, never feel guilt. I'm going to read on. You know, first read Sam's woman one more time.
A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog.
Counted as a dog. Read on.
But she that is shamefaced.
She that is what?
Shamefaced.
Shamefaced. A woman who is able to feel guilt. A woman who's guilty about not feeding her goddamn kids. A woman who feels guilty about talking to her man a certain way. A woman who feels guilty about not putting in the work that she's supposed to, about not sacrificing the way she's supposed to for her family. That's the kind of woman that is what?
A shameless woman. But she that is shamefaced will fear the Lord.
She will what?
Fear the Lord.
She will what?
She will fear the Lord.
Read on.
Verse 26, a woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all. But she that dishonoreth him in her pride shall be counted ungodly.
Shall be counted ungodly. Jump back to verse 25. One more time. Read the end part of it.
But she that is shamefaced,
right,
will fear the Lord.
Right. But they, in the Christian church, they all fear the Lord, right? I'm a God-fearing woman.
And have sex with the preacher.
And you having sex with the preacher. I'm a God-fearing woman. Baby, could you make me a sandwich? Make it yourself. I'm a God-fearing woman. Baby, could you go and just do such and such with me? You got hands. Why can't you do it? You a God-fearing woman, but read on from God-fearing, from they fear the Lord.
But verse 26, a woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all.
She shall be judged. That's a wise woman. According to the Bible, a wise woman ain't got nothing to do with that stinking psychology degree you got. It ain't got nothing to do with all your education. It has nothing to do with how much money you make. I don't give a damn if you financially this and you can do this and I'm smart because of this. No one cares. The oppressor cares though. Salakia. Someone does care. The oppressor does want you to feel smart because of that degree. The oppressor does want you to feel smart because you're financially this and you can work this and you know how to run this and you the CEO. You got a company and you up there in the bank and you wear a nice suit and it's like a business suit. He wants you to feel well about that. But the Most High wants what? Read 25 from the end.
But she that is shamefaced.
He wants you to be shamefaced. Read on.
Will fear the Lord.
And to fear the Lord. Read on.
Verse 26. So like it. A woman that honoreth her husband.
And he wants you to do what?
honoreth her husband.
To honor your husband, read on.
Shall be judged wise.
Shall be judged wise of all. Why didn't it say she'll be judged wise of all if she runs her mouth? Why didn't it say that? Why didn't it say she'll be judged wise of all if, she shows she can break down scriptures better?
It's not a place.
Give him a hand. That's not what she's there for. Salakia, I need this scripture too. I'm gonna jump back to the article. In relation to that, I need give me Ecclesiastes chapter 36 and verse 24.
Ecclesiastes.
This is what the feminist movement wanted to change. This is what 36 and 24.
Okay.
Ecclesiastes 36 and 24. This is what they wanted to change. This is what Gloria Steinem and Margaret Sanger, Alice Walker, right? That's a black one.
Yeah.
This is what they wanted. Oh, by the way, Alice Walker, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
Right.
I know the name, but I can't.
She wrote a very famous book.
Color Purple.
Yep.
The worst one. I hate that one.
She wrote the book. We're going to find out some stuff about her in a minute.
That's why I knew that name.
Right. Now go ahead and read that scripture right there.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 36, verse 24.
Feminist women, the feminist movement wanted our women to move away from this. They act like they pushed it on themselves, but that's a goddamn lie. The abortion clinic wasn't set up in their community. It was set up in yours. Getting the man out of the house wasn't policies for them. It was policies for you, black woman, Hispanic woman. Now read that.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 36, verse 24. He that getteth a wife.
He that getteth a wife.
Begetteth a wife.
He that getteth a wife. A man that gets a wife. He gets in a bed. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, Salakia. Get in the bed, right? You want to be doing this in other places, man. We not doing that no more. I know brothers in the world, y'all done made mistakes. We all been there. Now, go in that marriage chamber, man. Close the door. You know what I'm saying? Put on that, that R&B or whatever you like to put on, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? And go in the bed and handle your business. Right. Represent. Read on.
Beginneth. He
that getteth a wife, beginneth. Once you get one, once you get in the bed and you go ahead and tie fire to that behind, you beginneth what?
A possession.
A what?
A possession.
No, an equal union.
A possession.
No, a partnership.
A possession.
Friendship.
A possession.
You beginneth a possession. She belongs to you, Ak. She's yours.
Right.
You possess that. You understand?
But
But these feminist women, that's exactly what they were fighting against. They didn't want to be anyone's possession. That goes back to the first way of feminism. They kept trying to be more equal, more equal, more equal. You understand? Finish it up.
a help.
A what?
A help.
A what?
A help.
No, y'all gotta help each other.
A help.
No, she's just there to look pretty.
A help.
A help. Read on.
Like unto himself.
No, like unto the pastor.
Like unto himself.
Unto herself.
Unto himself.
No, it's a help unto himself because she's just like you. What you want, she wants. How you think, she thinks. How you want the house done, that's how she gets it done. She's a help like unto yourself. Read on.
And a pillar of rest.
And a pillar of what?
Rest.
No, stress.
Rest.
No, a pillar of God damn it, I can't wait to get away from this person.
Of rest.
A pillar of rest. You're supposed to come up in that house, be able to kick your goddamn feet up and be like, damn, in the world, they was kicking my tail, man. But I'm home now. And my wife is here, and I'm about to chill. That's what she's supposed to be.
That's right.
Right? But she can't be that if she's listening to, go back to the article and read the quote from Never Waste Song.
Never waste time feeling guilt. Never agonize too much.
Never agonize too much, go ahead.
And have a lot of paid help at home.
Have a lot of paid help at home.
And never ever let them
Let what?
Let them.
Let them. Who is them?
chilling.
It's your own goddamn family. Never let your husband, never let your kids, never let them interfere with what?
With the long climb to the top.
I'm a CEO.
The long climb to the top.
I'm the manager of the managers of managers.
To the top.
The long climb to the top. Good night. That's what it's all about, man. In this American society, man, they teaching your woman to abandon you and your kids so she can be higher in their worth. Yeah,
and that's one of the reasons why all of this like sexual harassment and stuff, you know, they kept it on the low for so many years because these women, they didn't feel no guilt.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They didn't feel no shame. They just did that. They thought that was part of the process of climbing to the long climb to the top.
That's exactly what they thought it was. They felt like, okay, you know, well, this is just climbing to the top. It's getting me where I need to go. You know what I mean? So lock it. I'm going to get another scripture, man, but that's too up. So I'm going to jump back to the article. Keep reading.
In other words, untangled and unattached.
And what?
Untangled and unattached sex will set you free. Losing your single status.
Read them.
Losing your single status, or even worse, getting pregnant, could be the death of your career.
Could be the death of your career. Read on.
Your sense of freedom and the claim to yourself.
Right, that's what they taught. And that's why all women, we read earlier about the statistics, they're 3 times more likely to get an abortion than anybody else. Period. This is a fact. 12% of the population could account for over 30% of all abortions that take place. All abortions that take place. You know what I'm saying? Give me Wisdom of Solomon chapter 12 and verse 5.
The book of the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verse 5. And also those merciless murderers of children.
Those what?
Merciless murderer of children.
Unfortunately, the black woman has become what?
A merciless murderer of children.
Our sisters, man. They become merciless murderers of children because somebody told them, if you have children, you won't be able to advance your career. You won't be able to make your dreams come true. Somebody taught them that if you have children, you won't be what? Free. You're going to be in bondage. Right? Read on.
And devourers of man's flesh.
And devourers of man's flesh. Read on.
And the feast of blood. With their priest out of the midst of their idolatrous crew.
You could drop that. Give me Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 3. The Bible is all about womanhood, man. Teaching a woman how to be a woman. It's about manhood for men. The Bible is about teaching a man how to not be a woman and a woman how to not be a man. That's why our law tells us what? It's unlawful for a man to wear that which pertaineth to what? To a woman. And it's unlawful for a woman to wear that which pertaineth to a man. Women are women, men are men. That's biblical. So we're going to get this one and another scripture and jump back to the article. Then I got to get the one of Alice Walker, man.
We're looking for what's
the Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 3.
Okay. Right after Jeremiah. Okay. The book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 3. Even the sea monsters.
Even the what?
Sea monsters.
Even the sea monsters, man. Them whales and them things in the sea, man. They're animals. But even the sea monsters, read on.
Draw out the breath.
Even the sea monsters draw out the breast. Read on.
They give suck to their young ones.
They nourish their children. You understand? They nourish their children and help their children grow and do what's best for their children. And they're proud of it. Read on.
The daughter of my people.
The who?
The daughter of my people.
The daughter of my people. Who's the Lord's people?
Israelites.
The Israelites, who today are what? Please.
Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
That's right.
It says the daughter of my people. So black woman, Hispanic woman, Native Indian woman, read on.
Is become cruel.
Is become what?
Cruel.
Is become what?
Cruel.
Read on.
Like the ostriches in the wilderness.
Like the ostriches in the wilderness. Read on, next verse.
Verse 4. The tongue of the sucking child cleaveth to the roof of his mouth for thirst.
Right, I believe it's saying that because the ostrich does something with its young. Wait, please.
So the female ostrich leaves the egg.
Right, that's
She
what I was
lays the
gonna say.
egg and she leaves them. The
Mhm.
male ostrich has to come in and sit on them.
Wow. Wow. Don't tell me this Bible is not a true book. This Bible is a true book with the realest metaphors that describe the black community today. Lamentations was written something like 5,000 years ago. 4,000. About 4,000 plus years ago. And today it rings true.
The truth never changes.
Right. That's just a fact. The Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. Read on.
The tongue of the suckling child cleaveth to the roof of his mouth for thirst.
The tongue of the suckling child clingeth like to the roof of his mouth for thirst. He's thirsty. Our babies are thirsty. They're not being nursed. They're not being taken care of. They're not being groomed properly, taught, right? The Bible says what? Train up a child in the way that he should go and he shall not depart. Right. But that's not happening today. Read on.
The young children ask bread, and no man bringeth it unto them.
Right, man. Our children are starving in these streets, man, because somebody, our children are starving because somebody wanted to go become the goddamn CEO. And am I telling a woman that she can't be the CEO? No. You can go ahead and be the CEO. You can be the manager of managers. You can be the corporate this. You can be the business this. You can have the career. But don't forget about your responsibilities. Don't forget about what makes you a woman. Don't forget about what God ordained for you to be. Give me one more before we get back. Give me 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 13 before we get back to the article. All right? This is important, man. This is what, don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed of what God asks you to be. We read the scripture before about envying the oppressor. The oppressor says, being the businesswoman, being the loudmouth, single ladies, don't need nobody, I'm the king and the boss, they told you that is what you should aspire to be. That is special. That is real, right? I think we're in women's celebration month or something right now, I think. I've been seeing women's stuff all over the place. I just seen it on title and stuff.
It wouldn't surprise me because right after Black History, that's right.
Yeah.
Right after Black History Month, the women.
Yeah, I think this is Women's History Month or something like that.
Something like that. I remember hearing something like that.
And praising all the things and all that stuff. But meanwhile, teaching our women, putting the idea in their head, and that's what it was the way Kat, the Office of Abraham broke down yesterday. It's so wild, man. Come to drive the Most High to jealousy, to convince his people to worship other gods like you, to worship other gods, to convince his women to go against him and worship the almighty dollar. Man, the Most High is angry. He is not happy about what's going on with our sisters. He's not happy about what's going on with our brothers. He's not happy about what's going on in America. And guess what? This place is going to pay with blood on account of it. You understand? Read what you got.
The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 13. For Adam was first formed, then Eve.
Right, this is Paul breaking down, right? Telling them basically, the ranking order, right? Because before, it has said, I suffered not a woman to teach. So he's telling you to order again. Read on.
Verse 14. And Adam was not deceived,
Right.
but the woman, being deceived, was in the transgression.
Right. The woman is not above the man because Adam was formed first. Adam wasn't made for Eve. Eve was made for Adam. Read on.
Verse 15. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved.
She shall be what?
Saved.
She shall be what?
Saved in childbearing.
In what?
In childbearing.
No, she should never have kids.
In childbearing.
No, that oppresses her.
In childbearing.
The Bible says she shall be saved in childbearing. It is the most beautiful thing that a woman can have children. That is her special gift from the Most High. There is nothing that she can do that trumps it. You understand? Other than loving her husband, loving her family, sacrificing herself as best she can. But part of that, if she can have children, bear children. She shall be saved in childbearing. You understand? Any more on that?
If they continue in faith and charity and holiness and with sobriety.
With sobriety. Yeah, you can't just pop out babies all over. You got women just popping out babies. It's not about that. But if she does it properly, right? She's respecting her husband, like the other scripture says. She honoring the husband. She's going to be counted wise, right? Now, Salakia. I know we're going back to the article. Give me one more scripture. Give me Genesis 2:18. Salakia. I know I'm jumping scripture to scripture, but man, it's just these goddamn oppressors be saying such garbage. And I just had to just bring out scriptures to prove that according to the Bible, that's all nonsense, man.
2:18.
Yeah, real quick.
The book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 18.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord, thy power said.
Right, we just read about how Adam and Eve was formed. Who was formed first? Adam was formed first, and Eve was made for Adam. Read on.
It is not good that the man should be alone.
Talking about Adam, because Adam was alone at first. Right? Read on.
I will make him and help.
I will make him a what?
And help me.
Make him a what?
A help.
No, I'm gonna make him a goddamn dragon.
A help me.
I'm gonna make him some woman to goddamn question him about everything you do.
And help me.
I'm gonna make him a help me. Read on.
For him.
For what?
For him.
For her.
For him.
For her.
For him.
I'm gonna make him a help me for him. The woman is for the man. Shut your goddamn mouth and help him. Help him. This world is trying to destroy Black and Hispanic and Native Indian men.
That's right.
And it's trying to use our women against us. Stop being a goddamn puppet, man. Stop listening to Gloria Steinem and Margaret Sanger. And what's this other goddamn devil's name? Salakia. What's her name? Wrote that vile, disgusting book. Where is it at? Here it is. Helen Gurley Brown, editor-in-chief of your favorite magazine you pick up in Food Lion, Cosmopolitan. Right?
So sophisticated.
So sophisticated. Stop watching Sex in the goddamn City. I hear a sister talking about they watch Sex in the City. And I've seen the movies. I see why y'all like it. You know what I'm saying? They all fashionable. You know what I mean? It's all funny and everything.
But one of the themes of the show is that there's this one particular chick.
Mm-hmm.
She goes out and she has all of this shameless sex, but she always winds up falling for the dude, and the dude breaks her heart and shit.
Right. I think that's Samantha.
Yeah.
One of them devils. Yeah. There's 4 goddamn dogs running around New York. That's what I see when I watch the goddamn one. Yeah, there's 4. One, and I always say that main one, her face looked like the bottom of a foot. I'm just telling the truth. She looked like the bottom of somebody's foot. I think it's a known fact, right? But watching that show and want to aspire to be like these females, if that's what you want to call them. Good night. Let me jump back to the article. Salakia.
Stop in other words, untangled and unattached sex will set you free. Losing your single status, or even worse, getting pregnant, could be the death of your career, your sense of freedom, and a claim to yourself. Except that neither Steinman nor Gurley Brown knew if that was actually true, since neither had children. And ironically, both were married.
This is what they don't tell you. They don't tell you that these oppressor women, these Edomite women that told you this is how you do it.
This shit is game, man.
They put a Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood is here to help. It's family planning. Here, take this. Listen, no, don't let them run you. Here's Woman of the Year awards given to a goddamn man with a penis named Caitlyn Jenner. Right? They feed you all of this garbage, got you up in the abortion clinic, killing your babies, killing our soldiers and our princesses, right? Telling you, get the nigga out the house. He ain't no good. You unequally yoked. Meanwhile, they married. Read on.
But they couldn't be bothered by such trivial inconsistencies. They, along with others, just assuming they knew best, and hijacked a promising feminist movement as a vehicle for their misleading and damaging sexual propaganda.
Mm-hmm. Read on.
When sex is stripped of its intimacy or its possibility for the future and becomes about what a person can get rather than give, it is no longer empowering or powerful.
Mm-hmm. Read on.
It has simply been reduced to another way of feeding our selfishness. Ironically, numerous studies cite that married rather than single women report having the best sex and the most frequent sex.
Right. So this is what they're teaching you. Meanwhile, it's destroying your community. I see it every day. Black people, black men and black women, are literally taught to hate each other's guts and just use each other for sex. Like don't try to build anything. Just you know what I'm saying? What's that old song? What's that old song? Do it.
Do it.
Satisfied. Do it till you're satisfied. Whatever it is.
Do it.
Right.
Do it till you're satisfied.
Like that kind of thinking is pushed, right? To where it's like whatever you want to do is just go ahead and do that. Now jump to the other article. So I got to get some of this real quick because it's so disgusting. Like I'm so glad to tear Salaki. She's a sister, but I'm just glad to bring out some truth about this woman. We didn't get to Proverbs 31 because we was reading other stuff. But Proverbs 31, this woman talking about have paid help. Proverbs 31 is all about a woman who is the help. She is the paid help. She's the one that gets it done, right? If you want to read it, just go ahead and read all Proverbs 31, and you're going to see how it says she's like the merchant ships. You know what I'm saying? She brings her food from afar. She wake up early, you know what I'm saying, while it is yet night, and gives meat to her household. She takes care of everybody in there, including her maidens. She takes care of her maidens. That's what a wife does. That's what a woman does. America taught you to be a goddamn slut and a whore. Read that out.
How my mother's fanatical feminist views tore us apart by the daughter of the color purple author.
Ooh-wee. The daughter of the color purple author. Y'all love that movie, man. I love Harpo. God knows I do.
But I kill him.
But I kill him dead. Let him be. Y'all love that part. Y'all love Harpo crying, and y'all love, you know what I'm saying, Mister getting his retribution, and Celie and the scene, and she got the fingertips, and they love the whole thing. Tyler Perry that made a whole career over basically trying to recreate Color Purple 800 times. Every movie is like a small recreation of the Color Purple, right?
Bash the black man, homosexual sex.
Yup, bash the black man, homosexual, and then the movie, let's not forget, it's
The
the
only
lesbians.
good relationship in the whole movie was between the two women.
Right. That's the whole, and then it said, it puts lesbianism, right? It's weird, man. It's a weird movie. Please.
If I may, I'm old enough to remember that shit was considered white people shit.
Really?
Yeah. Like this is what they do. Like Spielberg knew what he was doing.
Right.
Like back in the 60s, like I'm telling you, man, the world is flipped like twice, 2 or 3 times in my life. Back in the 60s, there was certain things that black people didn't do.
Right.
And it was rare. We didn't start seeing dykes and shit. I mean, it was always there. Mom's Mabley was a dyke.
Of course.
But it was something that was very well kept.
Right. Mom's Mabley would still have a dress on in her shirt.
Right. She was dressed as a bag lady.
Right. Exactly.
You know, but in the 70s, in the 80s, especially the 80s, man, they just came out.
Yeah, I mean, you had to listen. A lot of that freak stuff was going on in the entertainment world. Like you brought up the Hollywood earlier. That was happening even in the black community. All of that weirdo stuff was happening in Hollywood because Hollywood.
Because they was connected.
Exactly. They was more rubbing elbows with him. He's a freak. So now you a goddamn freak. Bessie Smith also, I believe, was a halfway kind of you know what I'm saying, up in that homosexual lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and read it. We're reading about this is about Alice Walker, who wrote The Color Purple. This is written by her daughter, right? Good.
She's revered as a trailblazing feminist and author. Alice Walker touched the lives of a generation of women, a champion of women's rights. She has always argued that motherhood is a form of servitude.
A form of servitude. Read on.
But one woman didn't buy into Alice's beliefs. Her daughter, Rebecca, 38.
This is her daughter with, by the way, this same Alice Walker was married to a Edomite.
Yeah, but you can look at the daughter.
Right, they show it. Read on.
Here, the writer describes that it was like what it was like to grow up as the daughter of a cultural icon and why she feels so blessed to be the sort of woman 64-year-old Alice despises.
Drop down to the paragraph that begins, you see, and then you'll see a picture of her with her Caucasian husband at the time.
You see, my mom, they must be from England, taught me that children enslave women. I grew up believing that children are millstones around your neck.
Right.
You must be a Jew. And the idea, a Jewish man, and the idea that motherhood can make you blissfully happy is a complete fairy tale.
So her mother taught her that she was oppressing her. That her existence was oppressive to her because motherhood is oppressive. That's what this young girl, who is an Edomite, again, you know what I'm saying? But she was taught by her mother that her presence was a burden on her. Read on.
In fact, having a child has been the most rewarding experience of my life. Far from enslaving me, 3.5-year-old Tenzin has opened my world.
She's talking about her child. Read on.
My only regret is that I discovered the joys of motherhood so late. I have been trying for a second child for 2 years, but so far with no luck.
Read on.
I was raised to believe that women need men.
She was raised to believe what?
That women need men like a fish needs a bicycle.
I was raised to believe that women need men like a fish needs a bicycle. A black woman who you love her work. You love her movie so much. Her movie was doing nothing but expressing feelings that she had anyway. Somebody read my mind. All the stuff that Alice Walker was saying about a woman needs men like a fish needs a bicycle. What's the irony of this? And tell me what she was really saying. I'm really asking you to read my mind on this. What's ironic about that statement?
She's married to a white man.
Give him a hand. She's married to a man who happens to be an Edomite. So what is she really saying?
She said, this doesn't count for me, but for you, when you read my book.
Nah, I wouldn't say that.
Kind of one.
What is she really saying? Because she's still talking about herself.
Well, she's saying that she hates herself in her position. In a way.
Okay.
Because she's married. She's in servitude according to her own words. She has a child. and the child is a millstone around her neck, in her own words.
Mhm.
So that's kind of a self-hating statement.
That's a fact. What's kind of the topic of today's class? We're talking about a certain type of woman. What is she saying? What? I'll make it easy for you. What is color purple saying?
That women should have their own power, and they should not respect the power of the man.
Of what?
Of the man.
You being too broad.
Of the black man. Of a husband.
So what is she saying when she says women need men like a fish needs a bicycle?
The women should be independent.
Please,
What the hell a fish need a bicycle for?
That's true. But when she says women need men like a fish need a bicycle, but she's a married woman, think about who she's married to and who she's not married to. I just gave you the answer.
They don't need a black man, they need a white
Give
man.
him a hand. A black woman needs a black man like a fish needs a bicycle. That's what she's saying. That's what the color purple is saying.
Yep, that's what it was saying.
That that movie ain't talking about the so-called white man.
It's not a positive role, black role model.
The whole movie is about how black men are garbage.
That's the whole theme of the movie.
That's the whole theme of the movie. She represents, and that movie represents, the entire idea that has been pushed down the throats of black women for the past 60 plus years. You understand? Since slavery, man. That a black woman does not need. Go ahead.
In a way, that movie kind of tries to show what the white man did to us, like that the black man did it.
Right.
Because they separated the family, they sent the sister off,
Mm-hmm.
they beat them.
Right.
All the things that the white man did to them, degraded them. All the things that the white man did to us, the black man is doing to us, to the black woman in that movie.
Exactly. That's what it's talking about, man. Now, we read on the article. We're going to close it out in a minute. From that same paragraph.
Okay. I was raised to believe that women need a man like a fish needs a bicycle. Oh, I'm past that. As a child of divorced parents, I know only too well the painful consequences of being brought up in those circumstances. Feminism has much to answer for denigrating men.
When you read articles like this, make sure as you hear them words that you realize who is it talking about most. When you hear that word, when you hear that word feminism, I mean, we think about, okay, the Caucasian woman, the white woman, but just think about practically where these things are being put into play. Go ahead.
Feminism hasn't taken any power away from the white man.
None.
But it took the black man's power and took him out of his home.
100%. Give him a hand.
All right.
Ain't right. You understand? If you look at it, like you said, it's not taking no power from the so-called white man. Donald Trump's still the president of the United States, and he's about to get elected again, probably. You know what I'm saying? That ain't changed that at all. You know what I mean? They numbers ain't changing. They not leading in abortions. All this stuff about motherhood and everything goes back to that woman. We just read about the woman, Ellen Gurley, wrote that book about not getting pregnant. That's a white woman who became the editor-in-chief of Cosmopolitan magazine, wrote the book in 1962. But why is it that their abortion numbers still aren't exceeding anyone else's? Get up.
When the black woman was working for the white woman,
Mm-hmm.
and then the black woman wasn't working, the white woman didn't have that black maid and that black slave no more,
Mm-hmm.
and they had to do all the shit for themselves. They said, "Wait, man, if I'm gonna be doing this work, let me go out the home,
Right,
and get this money."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? This always comes back to their relationship with us,
right, absolutely.
and they always want to project all of these things onto us.
Right, absolutely. Now, continue with the article.
has much to answer for denigrating men and encouraging women to seek independence, whatever the cost to their family.
Read on.
My mother's feminist principles colored every aspect of my life. As a little girl, I wasn't even allowed to play with dolls or stuffed toys in case they brought out a maternal instinct.
Good night.
It was
We don't
drummed.
last part, we're gonna read this article. We don't.
It was drummed into me that being a mother, raising children, and running a home were a form of slavery.
Read on.
Having a career, traveling the world, and being independent were what really mattered according to her.
Wow. So now, when you're watching That Color Purple, you just remember, you understand, who wrote it. You remember who wrote it, and you remember how it was, you understand, how do I say? Written by a woman who despised everything about you. Everything about family. I'm going to just keep it real with you. It was written by a woman who hates God. Because God loves Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And he loves Black families. And he loves Black women giving birth to Black sons and Black daughters.
That's right.
And Black unity and Hispanic unity and Native Indian unity. And he loves all of us being together as one family, as the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And everything that they've done to dissipate that, to damage that, taking you out of the home, telling your woman that she's greater than you, she's smarter than you, she's stronger than you, she knows better than you. All of that has been nothing but a ploy to destroy you. And all women continue to fall for it. And we continue to fall for it. But Black men, we got to take back our households, man.
That's right.
We got to take back our household, man. Otherwise, we're not going to survive in this place. You know what I'm saying? And with that, pass the class over to Priest Officer Maya.
Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander Junior Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother and sister come to the school, they are offered for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They're here to share themselves with the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi 3, 8 through 10, means 10th in the Hebrew. It's pronounced ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give, upcoming holy convocations, of course, is Passover, right, next month. You know, so make sure you have all your affairs in order. You know what I mean? Get them garments, get them hairpieces, get them dresses. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna go down there, man. So remind Akwati to check the social media such as isupk.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If the brother wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boot, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that, the mighty